save millions of families. And to give and empower gender roles, not freaking identities. That's a whole different ballgame. And we've done some deep dives. I got an awesome team. I'm working with a couple of women from out of the country and a couple of dudes from out of the country. And it's starting to really get some traction. So we're just out there to reignite human intuition and critical thinking. What's that, right? Logic and reason, and just to, try to spread some common sense around the world. But that's what we're doing, man. The future of the world relies on whether or not our children can discern truth from facts and lies from fiction and fantasy from reality. And so we want to give them the tools to get back on track. We're working on curricula and master classes and all this crazy stuff, but it's not as crazy as a lot of people think it is. And the toxic masculinity bullcrap is what got us started 5 years ago. Love that. I love that.
Well, you're really mansplaining it to us. Before we get into that, what is it called, man? We got some lightning round questions we got to start you out with so people get to know you, our audience. We're going to do this real fast. We want fast answers. Hit that music. Perfect.
Okay.
What is a hot dog a sandwich?
It depends on what state you're in. Chicago, yeah, maybe. And
never heard that one. Yeah. What time do you wake up in the morning?
Depends on if I'm all hours, midnight, 1 o'clock. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning. I don't know why, but freaked my wife out. So yeah, I get up whenever I get up.
Oh, that's cool.
If you had to date one of us, which one would you date?
Probably him.
Not you.
Sure.
Eric. Yep.
Anybody undefeatable like that, that's a guy you want in your balls for. That's
man.
Yeah, he's a twig. I
know that
too. He's little.
You can never get me, bro.
A hazer.
He'll never get.
He's got a hanger though. That's masculine as fuck.
If he stands me up, I'll go for you. It's all good.
Second choice. You ever seen a ghost or a UFO or anything interesting? Like
I've been on a UFO. I was during a DMT experience.
Okay.
I think they were expecting me. I walked down this corridor. There's these two aliens sitting at this screen. They didn't say anything to me, but aliens do exist.
Oh, yeah.
We, circle back to
it. Been sure that I think I've been on that ship also.
You probably were, man. Was that you or the next through?
Oh, it might have been. Crying.
Does God exist?
Again, it depends on what state you're in. If you're in Iran, I don't think so. But maybe if you're in, the Bible Belt, yes.
You code switch by location, all right? When's the last time you cried?
Yesterday, man. I stubbed my foot coming in. We got bricks and it's cold in Virginia. So, yeah, yesterday.
You got one?
No.
Last question.
Nope.
I think I walked in right before we started and heard this. Did you watch or listen to this show before coming on?
I did. I actually saw your YouTube channel.
No.
Okay. I haven't watched all the shows, but I just to get a feel for what was going on. And I was saying I'd never been on a comedy show. He said it was just real life.
You still haven't been. So,
well, you're not required to watch all of them. I think you're like 502 or something.
You're 503 or 504, I think. What advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
Dude, slow down. It's not your fault.
You stubbed your toe.
I stubbed my toe, but even worse than that, in the summer of my 3rd or 4th grade, I was assaulted on a neighborhood sleepo. And it kind of just shifted gears for me mentally. I didn't trust anybody. I was always out to prove my manhood. So if I had to give advice to a 13-year-old who had been assaulted like that, slow down, dude. You're all right. It's not you, man.
Yeah, I want to hear about that and NeoMasculinity. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, a little short bio, and where to find you?
My name is John Krotec. I am a U.S. Army veteran, a small business owner, entrepreneur, I think is what they call us. Married up here in the Shenandoah Valley. We're working on a lot of projects to help make planet Earth better. And our whole thing is about leadership, as are you guys, and just making the world a better place. And I know by just being on this show for the last couple of minutes, guys like you make the world a better place. So I know I'm in a good place.
You butt on red, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's the truth is the truth.
The next thing coming out of my mouth was the world needs more people like you. Army vet, somebody who's been through it and still cries when they stub their toe, and is not afraid to admit it and all of it, because you're right, the toxic masculinity is out of control. It's sad.
I bet his stuff knows that it could nail.
I know, he probably lost the toe.
I got a tape next to the other one, man. It's we're good. So yeah, it's probably broke.
They're buddies.
It's a natural split.
What part of Virginia are you in?
I am in the Shenandoah Valley.
Where? I don't know where that is.
That's and you got to be careful when you hear you guys. So when you come up here, you can't say I live in Northern Virginia, because that's a whole different ballgame. I live in Northwestern Virginia. And then the people make a point of letting other people know that. So, because Northern Virginia has a lot of political nonsense going on, and here they don't.
That's what
I'm about 30 minutes north of Harrisonburg, which is where JMU is, James Madison University.
Yeah,
so
college football playoff team.
Yeah,
and you're near, I believe, where Randy Moss and White Chocolate are from. Right about.
They're from West Virginia.
But it's nearby.
My family is from West Virginia. I know all the West Virginia athletes. Yeah. All right, I know.
Just over the mountain, though. I mean, literally, I can see the Allegheny Mountains that way, and just over there is West Virginia. That's a whole different place, though.
Yeah,
it's Louisiana.
I performed there. It's got a blue filter on it, like 8 Mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. Do you want? I know you want to get into DMT stuff.
Well, okay. Well, let's go. Just take us through.
Do you want to do DMT?
Yeah. Well, you can think. Interestingly, man, have you guys had the opportunity to do Spirit Molecule? Well, in 2012, I went out with a buddy.
Your boyfriend story.
Yeah, we had been drinking wine, and I got in a DUI accident that night. So 13, 14 years ago. And what it did was it unleashed like demons that I had never dealt with. We talked a little bit about it a second ago. And so immediate insomnia within a couple of months. I didn't want to be married. It was like, I'm out of here. Anger. I had never dealt with these things. So what I ended up doing was, because I had this insomnia thing going on for 5 years, that my doctors prescribed antidepressants, which made me immediately suicidal. I'll say it how it is. I didn't want to be here anymore. And I was desperate. I needed to get help. And I had heard about plant medicine, and this particularly, I can't pronounce it, but DMT, the spirit molecule.
Dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah. See, you know it better than I do. And so what I ended up doing, I put it out to the universe, and well-qualified person came, and I was able to do 3 journeys into a different world. And it literally cured a lot of my woes. And I saved my marriage. We were in the middle of this divorce, and I saved my marriage. But what was interesting was I had the opportunity to interview Dr. Rick Strauss.
Oh, wow.
Who wrote the book, The Spirit Molecule.
Yeah.
I interviewed him on a Task Force Zen podcast that I was doing a few years ago. And he was a phenomenal human being, and he's the guy that opened up my mind to Spirit Molecule. It's a lot like those colors behind you and your guys' sign there.
Mm-hmm.
But people talk about different dimensions and this and that, but until you go to them, you just think it's a lot of hogwash.
Right.
And I'm not joking, you guys. I went down that corridor, and I'm sure you're in the next room, but I did these 3 episodes, and it literally cured me.
Yeah.
Of whatever it was I was going through.
I mean, most people don't go straight to DMT. Most people will have some mushrooms or whatever other sort of like entry-level psychedelic. Going straight to DMT, that's pretty hardcore.
Raw Dog didn't know lube right away.
Yeah, I had never done anything psychedelic in my life, and I didn't know what to expect, but we smoked it, right? And literally within a minute or two, I was in a different place. And so, the quantum theorists tell us that there's like 23 different dimensions. Well, I believe them. And you guys ask that question, and we smoke and joke about it, but it's real. So even though you guys have a humorous twist to it, it's freaking real.
Oh, no. When I talk about it, I'm like, I'm not joking.
There's different dimensions.
All the shit. I've been up there. And, how was it for you the first time? Was it as scary as it can be? Like I was a little bit nervous, hearing like that. I heard like that cicada sound, and it was like, and then you see it.
Sound switched sound like somebody was beating on, like had a monkey wrench and they were beating on something metal. And then I literally went into this room and there were these two beings sitting at the screen. I'm not BSing. And they both looked at me kind of like over their shoulders, but they didn't say anything. It's like, well, dude, what took you so long? Don't you see that there's more to life than what's going on planet Earth? But anyhow, there was one with a demon in it. The last one had a demon that came right up in my face. And I was like, you don't scare me. And it kind of just went away. But I guess we all have different experiences, but it's the integration that I think makes it more important. There's a lot of people that are abusing things like that. And I used it strictly as a medicinal.
So you were three trips and done.
3 trips and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
I remember the first time I did it, somebody else asked, how long does it last? And the guy we got it from said, well, hopefully the rest of your life. And I was like,
thanks, dude. Thank you for that answer.
Yeah. But looking back, it's as true as it can get, man.
Oh, yeah. I got like a doctor's appointment later. Is that how long? Oh, infinity?
But on the flip side, it's like
that lost infinity on a spacecraft.
Yeah. 10, 15 minutes, though, is really the length that it is, the actual experience. But he was saying that, the effects of it will affect you the rest of your life. And yes, that's what happens.
Yeah, it did. And I used to travel a lot to South America. So I was able to, I led guided mountaineering trips for over a decade. And we used to go to all these ancient places, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like in Peru, there's this place outside Cusco called Sacsayhuamán.
Yep.
And yeah, you've been there. So you can't even put a piece of paper between the stones. And they built all of these locking mechanisms with other stones, or maybe quantum burners. I don't know what they did, but it's a lot more advanced than we are today. And now you got people walking around that you can't even add 2 + 2.
It's all the Germans that got out of World War II.
No, these were there way before they now.
I know. Comedy show guys.
Nazis went to Argentina.
They went everywhere, man.
No, maybe
they did.
Peruvians are the nerds of South America, I've been told.
What an interesting place.
I loved Peru. It was magical. I mean,
Peru's pretty cool, but I like Guatemala too. Guatemala had some really trippy places.
What do they got in Guatemala?
Yeah.
No, John McAfee. Oh no, that was Belize.
Huh.
I get all those little guys, down in Central America.
Yeah.
Kind of confusing. And near the top of South America. What brought you to? Why did you go to Guatemala?
Well, we had this backpack. Anybody told me don't open up a backpack.
It's hella dangerous.
Well, it is dangerous because the CIA went in there years ago and they were stealing. They were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's not as dangerous as most people think, because I was in some pretty dangerous places and I didn't even know it. In Chichicastenango, we went to one of the most dangerous places in the whole country. And Peruvians told me, you went there? We were seeing people spit alcohol and throw money at these effigies, and it was trippy. And I'm like, I got the feeling maybe we're not supposed to be here. But anyhow, Guatemala to me was just to go see Central America, because I had a backpacking store. I wanted to travel and see our hemisphere. So I had some background experience. So I wasn't selling my customers just nonsense. I had to be able to sell stuff and be honest about it. But Guatemala I went there 3 or 4 times and loved it. We were in earthquakes there, and we were in all kinds of funky things and loved it. I love foreign countries. Just love. Yeah, I don't know about Russia, but
Yeah, I have no desire for Russia. Do you have a next on the list place you're going to go?
I don't, but that's a great question. And maybe I'm thinking about seeing more Virginia right now with the way the world is. I'm not sure if Americans are, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, just in terms of like
same shit,
weird, trippy stuff, there's more in America than you'd ever realize. They've got mounds and they've got cave paintings. There's all kinds of stuff in America alone that you could do a whole tour of.
Yeah. The Southwest, they have the peyote church and people do vision quests, but you're 110% right. You've got all these burial sites and all these vortexes. I think Sedona, Arizona might be one. You go down to Sedona and you experience something cosmic. So you're right. I want to adventure around the U.S. a little bit more.
Yeah, Florida has a journey of opioids and Four Loko, and you just walk around anywhere in Florida. It's pretty crazy.
Can't get Four Loko anymore.
Can in Florida.
Yeah, you probably can.
You're the right guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the country's that much crazier. I just think we have access to information that's giving everybody anxiety. So maybe in that respect, yeah. But it's kind of everyone's just kind of doing the same shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's just like both my parents will put the news on, and all the news is getting you fired up, depending on what channel you're watching. Ooh, look at this. They get pissed off about this. And it's just like, I'm like, how often are you guys running into people that are terrorists?
You ever watch the local news in like the last 10 years? It's hilarious.
Oh, that's a joke.
It's,
You know what? You guys raised
owned by one company too. Sorry.
I was reading the other day about algorithmic rules and mathematical computation.
Hell yeah.
It seems like people go, I post stuff all the time, but my friends don't get to see it. Well, if it's not political, or it's not sensational, like entertainment, or it's not something that divides people, then in the algorithm, takes you to the bottom, right? So,
or if you're down a thirst trap chick, because that's a big one too.
Yeah.
But then that's gonna be number one by far.
Yeah, ticked and anger.
If I take a picture of a hot woman, it's like through the roof.
Yeah.
I keep getting pictures of hot women. It's this one Chinese girl that she's the same, but she's like in different places of the world. She's driving a Lamborghini, same chick. She's at the Hyatt House in New York City, same chick. And I'm going, holy cow, that girl gets around. I don't want to meet her. So we wonder about that.
I don't think she could be real. I mean, deep fakes and
Oh, I know. It's easy.
Well, she's Chinese.
That's a great point.
Actually, you just better from
nuzzles, just all over the world.
I mean,
but how can the same chick be driving 25 different exotic cars?
It's a different Chinese shoot all over the world.
Yeah, and she's the same chick, and she sends a private message every 3 days. There's no way, and they don't even have the SST anymore. There's no way she could travel that fast.
Yeah, you're getting.
I got. What does SST stand for? What's SST?
That's that supersonic transport that had the little nose and dick down.
Yeah. The Concorde. I know the Concorde. Yes, I know. I just didn't know the acronym.
You're embarrassing me.
Or down in Florida. That's where they have Alligator Alley, the jet port.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we got Alcatraz Alley too.
Alcatraz, that's it. It's in the jet port.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks to Rubio and DC, we got that sweet little prison alley now. That was fun.
They used to land. No, they never brought one in. They never opened that place.
I know, but they started developing it and putting stuff over.
Somebody made some money on that shit.
A lot of money.
Somebody made.
Jack.
Oh yeah,
it was in like New York Times or Wall Street Journal. It was one of the rare news articles I read. But it was like that place is no man's land though. Like if you want to put a prison there, you can put a bunch of them because that place sucks.
Yeah.
You get lost out there in the glades, you're screwed.
Yeah.
When they would your Mississippi Indian,
they would show these college football players and pro players from the sugarcane fields, and for fun, they were grabbing varmint out there. That's like to see how fast and quick you are to catch them. That's how shitty it is out there.
I was working in Coconut Grove back in the mid '80s when I got out of school. So chart house manager.
Now,
remember, man, and they were fine.
You look like a guy in Cocaine Cowboys. It's been bothering me the whole time.
But they were finding people split open out in the glades, in the middle of freaking nowhere. The mules. Remember when all that was going down in the mid '80s? And I was right in Coconut Grove where all that was taking place, and there wasn't a week that went by that my head maintenance guy didn't find like an 8-ball of coke in the bathroom. We'd come in, run a 2-hour wait. Everybody would be seated 2 hours later. Nobody would eat because they were constantly going in the bathroom and snorting.
It's like probably the best maintenance guy you ever had.
Yeah, but I mean, you find an easier.
True, man.
I mean, how long? Why were you in Miami during that time?
I was there in 1985. I had just come back from the Virgin Islands. Well, I graduated from FSU. I'm a Seminole, right? And I got a job with the Chart House Restaurants. And my first tour of duty after I left training in San Diego was St. Thomas. So all my buddies from college were in Chicago and Detroit and the Midwest. And I was in the Virgin Islands at approximately like 22 years old, right? They put me in charge of the bar. We were buying quarts of rum for $1.19. We made so much money in the bar business. Damn. But then when I left there and I got transferred out after a year and a half on island, it was carnival like every week. I got sent to Coconut Grove, and then it was like a huge carnival. Biscayne babies and all the places, South Beach and all that back in the 80s. It was a happening spot. And we sold a lot of steaks at the Chart House.
They weren't hungry, but they wanted them.
But they wanted them. They buy them, they wouldn't eat it. They would just poke it with a fork.
Was this the era? This might have been 85 would be late for this, but people walking around with trays of lines of Coke, just kind of very willy nilly. That was like late
guys
70s.
would not. Oh yeah, it was for real. It was that. Remember in Dadeland Mall, they shot up the place.
I was just gonna say it was like a war zone.
It was a war zone there, and this is no kidding. I used to hang out. I'd take a break, get out of the restaurant, and go talk to the valet parkers. Right, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, Porsches, Lotuses, Maseratis. They pull into the Chart House restaurant parking lot, drop off the keys, and it would always be like one Colombian guy or some Latin guy with like 3 beautiful babes.
Awesome.
That's what it was like there. And they would drop cash like it was this and that. But you'd go to this place called Biscayne Babies. It was in the Grove. And the women would be dancing on the bars, skimpy outfits. And then there'd be people snorting Coke off of people's bellies. It was like that. That was
the open. Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe my mom's from Coral Gables, but
is she really?
Yeah, but she's 74, so it's like that was a different Florida back then. That's like
my mom's from Miami too. She was from she went to Miami High School, and she's gone now. I'm a little bit older than you, but I'm Miami bred on that side of the family.
Yeah, my mom, she'll correct me if I say she's from Miami. She'll say Coral Gables.
Racist.
That's how she wants to make a difference.
She hold her pinkies like this. Coral Gables is jacked up, man. There's a lot of good.
It was very quaint when she was born in like the 50s. They had a nice my grandpa was a doctor, and so it didn't get down to the grandson, but that kind of know-how. But
what happened?
I don't know.
It could be a doctor. You look like a doctor. All you had to do is put a stethoscope on and you'd be good to go. Let us air down.
Anybody's ever...
You look like a doctor.
I look like a doctor that sells you pills in the alley.
Dr. Strange.
I'll write you that too. I'll write you an opioid script. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about masculinity. I went to a therapist about 6 years ago, and one of the sessions he goes, define masculinity and femininity to you. He was asking me, and I was like, fuck. I was like, give me a minute here, because I don't know how to do that. And I was maybe being too perfectionist about it, and then he tried to make fun of me for that. But what is it to be masculine now?
Well, it's to be brave, courage, right? We talk about human vibrational states, but actually what happened, we started to see it. We all did. We heard the word masculinity being
toxic,
coupled with the word toxic. And so
it's a lot of wet.
Yeah, it's like, why now every time I think of masculinity, I think of toxic, and I'm thinking, okay, this is bullshit. There's something going on here. So I looked up on Google, what is masculinity, or better yet, what's NeoMasculinity, right? This is 4 or 5 years ago. And it basically said a man cannot be masculine unless he accepts, quote unquote, changing social norms, right? So what happens if they tell us that a man can be a woman and it's not based on biology or real facts? Does it mean we have to lie to be men, right? So we took it even a step further, and we started looking at roles. Now, we're not talking about, we went back, we looked at vintage gender roles, right? Not identities, not any of that stuff that they're trying to use to divide us. And the primary purpose of a masculine man is to protect his family, and loved ones from threats. Well, think about that. So there's no more saber-toothed tigers. There's no more mastodons storming through the villages. We're not grabbing our spears and going out to protect the cave family. The threats now are like this bombardment of unreliable information. That's the threats to our families, right?
I feel like it was easier with the saber-toothed tigers.
Yes, exactly. So a woman can be a neo-masculine. So we went with NeoMasculinity Solutions because we have the solution. It's just to empower vintage gender roles and to give men and women, we're not exclusive, the tools to reignite their human intuition, and logical and critical thinking skills. And hopefully it will activate common sense so that if a decision comes down the pike, that a man can be masculine and make the right decision to protect his family. So a woman that's a single mother, what's she going to do? Well, you've heard Mama Bear, right? When she's protecting her family from a threat, she's actually exhibiting a masculine characteristic or a masculine role. Doesn't mean she wants to be a man. And the same thing for a single father. If he has to nurture his child because there's not a woman in the house, that's a feminine role normally. Doesn't mean he wants to be a woman. It just means that he's fulfilling this role. So what we want to do is we want to save millions of families from these threats, these information threats. We took the deep dive, you guys, and we identified 6 types of information that we're being bombarded with all the time, right? 5 of them are unreliable, and 1 of them is the truth. So think about that. We're getting bombarded all the time with this misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. We call social media noisy information, and now we got AI information. Now, if our kids and our people we care about are constantly being bombarded, and all we see is division and hate and vitriol, how is that sustainable for a family, let alone all of our humanity? So what we want to do is we want to be on the tip of the spear. And guys, with podcast shows like this, you guys are part of the solution, man. You guys are allowing people, the people that you interview, to tell their stories and to give people ideas and tips on how they can be parts of a better future too. And it's one person at a time.
Yeah, I love that, all of that, because to me, it's like you look around, it's like, are we doing good? Nah, we're not really doing that good, right? So how is it that, people who say, hey, maybe a mother of a child being home more is a good thing? Like, this idea of a working mom and they're supposed to be super mom and do everything. How do you think that affects the children growing up? Because I feel like that, I sound like a dick. I sound like a, anti-feminist or whatever, but like, we're almost not even allowed to talk about.
Yeah,
like
if you talk about it, you're mansplaining, which isn't exactly even the definition of that slang.
Right.
We've actually talked about it on this show for a long time now. Like we probably 2017 probably talked about there's an anger within a lot of women of our kind of generation, and they don't know what to do with it. And it's kind of, I know this is kind of tangential to what he was saying, but there's a thing growing up now that you can do it all. You can be the mom, you can be the wife, you can be the career woman. You'll have time to be able to cook and make your family dinner at night, and you'll have a clean house, and you'll be able to get that workout in at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% women can do that kind of thing.
I'd be angry too if I had that heaped on me.
And her name's Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Let me get my voodoo doll. Anyhow,
Now he gets all the energy from those big hanging tits.
no,
We're masculine, man. And she married a gay guy too.
you got to raise some good points. And you know what? And sorry, ladies, you super women that think you can do all of that. And if you have kids, you can't. Just be honest.
Right.
It's called humility. The way it's set up, normally when a child's born, there's a man and there's a woman. Isn't that how that works? And that child needs nurturing, and that child needs education, and that child needs to feel loved, and that child needs to feel rules, and that child needs to have discipline. And, none of us asked to be born, right?
Right.
So we're kind of expecting our parents to do something. So the women out there that are all upset and they think that they're this and that, I got news for you. I hope we get some good ratings, but I got news for you. It's better when there's a man around. Now, you might have had bad experiences with men, but I can assure you toxicity is the last thing real men point to or go to. Yeah, we can get rough, and if somebody's messing with the people we love, we can get toxic. But real men don't espouse violence. That's the last thing. We can hurt people. Us three guys right here, we could walk into any bar and just clean it out, right?
Beating double deuce, yeah.
Yeah, so, we can do that, but a real man doesn't do that. And somebody asked me the other day, what do we do with guys like Andrew Tate? And I said, nothing.
Yeah, leave him alone. Let him do his thing.
He's a charlatan anyway. I mean,
karma, you guys were right. Then you guys are truth-based. That's what brought us together. There's no way I wouldn't be here unless you guys were.
All right, we're about to run out of time because we don't want to pay for Zoom. So hold on. We got 2 minutes. I want to make this even though for anybody listening that's like, God, this is men's rights activists. How about let's give advice to there is a lot of man-child, what is it called? Like man-child kind of guy out there. There's a lot of guys that are kind of lethargic. They arrested development. They, expect things to kind of happen for them, to them, and not go out and do anything.
All right, well, don't eat up the man's 2 minutes.
What do you say to that group of men that's kind of growing in size, I feel like, more and more with the conveniences around?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. I 3 months into my one-on-one therapy, my therapist, God bless her, I love her to death. She's looking at me kind of funny and she's smiling. And I'm going, shoot, what the hell did I do? I said, Cheryl, what's going on? She says, you make me happy. And I'm like, oh, okay. She says, you're actually doing the work. Self-improvement and wanting to be better takes work. And that's that human vibrational state that I'm talking about. We can all wallow in the mire. I call them black hole galaxy people, right? The only way you're going to get better and the only way you're going to improve is you got to reach that courage state. And I'm not talking about false bravado. I'm talking about looking at yourself,
vulnerability,
self-introspective list, see what you have to work on, but focus on your strengths and reach down. We all have courage. We can find it. So, grow up. Just grow up. What does that mean? What does grow up mean? It means be the best person you can be. And it's not easy. If you don't work at it, then it's I call it intellectual laziness. And too many men are experiencing that right now. Guys like you and others, we're on the tip of the spear. If we don't stand up and turn this thing around, then we're complicit in the degradation of society as we see it.
I agree. And before this thing cuts off, John, this has been awesome. Just because I don't want you to end it with you talking like that, I'm going to reach out to you because I definitely want to talk to you more. Maybe even you and I just, do this again because I could go for another 2 hours.
In a room.
And I
appreciate you guys.
I'm super interested in what you're doing, and I'd love to talk more. Shit. And
we're still recording.
We're going. Yeah, we're still going, but
it's back. Is that the camera's on us, right?
It's been on us the whole time because I couldn't get the thing working.
Oh, that's right. We got to splice them in. That was good. Honestly, I was waiting. I was like, it's gonna cut off. It's gonna cut off.
I know. That's why I had to do.
No, I wanted it to because it would be funny. He'd be right in the middle of a point. He is a very emphatic speaker.
Well, here, while we're sitting here, let's do the intro and I'll splice it up.
Okay. You do the music or no?
No music.
I'll put it in post.
Okay, then you go home and record it because I got people rolling in there in about 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'll record it.
Okay.
Or not. I might just start right into this.
Let's just go dry.
I'm going to keep this part in.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. See ya. Fun, y'all.
Bye.